Sir, could you please enlarge it, sir?
Not coming full.
It's coming, sir, but enlarge it, sir. We are not properly visible, sir.
Okay, for all others also it coming same.
Yes, sir.
I have made it full screen only.
No, sir, it's full screen for us, sir.
Yes, that's what I'm, because I had made it full screen. Okay, so just check it out then. Let us continue further. So we'll go for the last mechanism, that is a steering gear mechanism. So steering gear mechanism, by the word steering only you can understand that it will be used in automobiles only. Okay, so how you control your automobile or the car, okay, car, bus, whatever. If you want to control the big vehicles, you have to give the direction according to the steering only. So that steering is going to control your entire stability, as well as where you want to move, left side or right side. Okay, so for comfortable movement you need steering. Okay, so the steering mechanism is used in automobiles for changing the directions of the wheel axles with reference to the chassis, so as to move the automobile in the desired path. So what we need to do, automatically the wheel should move in a exact in the same axis, otherwise what will happen, there will be a lot of wobbling. Okay, so usually the two back wheels will have a common axis which is fixed in direction with reference to the chassis, and the steering is done by means of front wheels, right? So all of you know how to drive a car? Anyone? Just quickly tell
Yes,
me.
sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
so those who know about driving a car, you might have observed that only the front wheel part, that is going to, when you go use the steering wheel, steering, what will happen? Only the front side, that is front left wheel or right wheel, that only have the inclination. The angle is going to, the wheel is going to only make an inclination with only the front part. The rear side always it is straight only. Okay, however you drive, the rear side will be completely rigid, because that will be move with the same axle, and that will not be having any impact. Okay, so only the steering is controlled with only the front part. So here also we will be discussing only on the front part, because the front wheels are placed over the front axles, that is stub axles, which are pivoted at the point A and B, that will be see in this figure now. Next, when the vehicle takes a turn, okay, when the vehicle takes a turn, what will happen? The front wheels only is going to have that rotation, okay, along with the stub axles, turn about the pivoted points. Okay, the back axle and the back wheels always remain straight. Okay, the only the front part is going to have the movement. Okay, so always there should be absolute rolling contact between the wheels and the road surface. So any sliding motion will cause the wear of the tires, and when a vehicle is taking turn, absolute rolling motion of the wheels on the road surface is possible only if all the wheels describe concentric circles. Okay, therefore the two front wheels must turn about the same instant in a center I, which lies on the axis of the back wheel. Okay, so what will happen when you take a turn? What will happen? The, if you take a, for example, left turn, what will happen? The left side of the wheel will have more inclination than the right side, right? Because when you take the left turn, the left wheel is having more inclination than the right side of the wheel. Okay, if you then I take the reverse part, if you take the right turn, automatically the right wheel, that will have the more inclination compared to the left wheel. Okay, so what will happen if there is no common axis point? Means if it doesn't come on the same instantaneous center, automatically there will be lot of problem in the mechanism. So always you should make a note that the same instantaneous center I should be located, so that both the wheels rotate at the same path. Okay, so let us see how it is going to work. So condition for perfect steering, that we'll see first, then based on that we'll see what are the different mechanisms involved in that. So the condition for perfect steering is that all the four wheels must turn about the same instantaneous center. Okay, so all four should have the common instantaneous center, and while negotiating a curve, the inner wheel makes a larger turning angle, that is, let us take it as theta, than the angle phi subtended by the axis of the outer wheel. Okay, so you know that the angle theta will be larger than angle phi. So the relative motion between the wheels of the vehicle and the road surface should be rolling one. So in order to satisfy this condition, when the vehicle is moving along a curved path, the steering gear must be so designed that the paths of the points of contact of each wheel with the ground make the concentric circular arcs. Okay, and steering is usually affected by the turning of the axis of the rotation of the two front wheels relative to the chassis or body of the vehicle, and to satisfy the above condition, the axis of the wheel on the inside of the curve must be turned through a larger angle than the axis of the wheel on the outside of the curve. Okay, so the front wheel are mounted on short separate axles with a pivoted to the chassis of the car. So you can see this figure. Suppose in this case we have AC as the front side axle and EF at the rear side axle. So when A to B is connected with the wheel on the left side and C to D is connected with another wheel here. So when the vehicle takes a turn, you can see in this figure, okay, the total distance with the width side it is A, and the total length here it is given as W. So if you take this inclination, you can see the inclination here. The from C to D, when the right turn is there, what will happen? The inclination for this is a larger angle. Okay, theta is larger. Whereas the inclination from A, B, which is inclined up to common point here, G, what is happening? The angle is here phi. So theta is greater than phi. Okay, so always when that takes a right turn, automatically the right side will have the more inclination than the left side here. Okay, and you can see the common point you have taken as G. So G is a common point where all the axes can be seen here at the same point. Okay, so CD making a same axis here, AB making same axis at point G, and even E and F. Okay, so this figure shows the plan view in which AB and CD are the two axes with pivots at A and C. So when turning to the right, the axis that is AB and CD intersect the common axis EF of the rear wheels at the point G. So G is the center, that is instantaneous center point. Okay, so that the path of the contact of each wheel with the ground is a circular arc with the center G. Okay, so like this, this is the condition for correct steering. So for that you have the equation for perfect steering. So let us see the equation. So AC is equal to EF. So AC is equal to EF because both are nothing but a small a. Okay, that is the width of this. Okay, so AC is equal to EF, and this is nothing but EG minus FG. So this is EG minus FG. This is nothing but EG minus FG. Okay, then you know that angle, if you take tan theta, what is tan theta? So tan theta is nothing but CF by FG. So CF by FG, this is tan theta, CF by FG. Then similarly from that you get FG is equal to CF by tan theta, that becomes that is equal to CF cot theta. Okay, so this is the first part. Then same thing we'll use with respect to phi now. So taking phi angle, so tan phi is nothing but AE by EG. Okay, tan phi is AE by EG. Okay, so AE by EG, this side, longer triangle. Then from here again EG will be AE by tan phi, that becomes AE cot phi. Okay, so therefore you get FG and EG, the equations. Then AC, okay, from the first equation what you written, AC is nothing but EF, that is EG minus FG. So let us take this. So using this relation EG and FG, AC becomes AE cot phi minus CF cot phi. So that if you take common, that is nothing but AE only, the length is same. So AE is nothing but into bracket of cot phi minus cot theta. Okay, because AE and CF are nothing but same. Okay, so from this what you get, cot phi minus cot theta is equal to AC by AE. AC by AE, and this AC is nothing but what? This is small a, it is taken here, small a. Okay, then AE is nothing but the W, this entire length, A is nothing but W. Okay, so that is equal to A by W. So therefore, the condition for correct steering is cot phi minus cot theta, that is equal to A by W. Okay, so for a correct steering, the steering gear must obey this equation, whatever may be the radius of the curvature of the path followed by the car. So, okay, so this is the condition for correct steering. So in this same case, there are two different mechanisms based on the steering gear. One is Ackermann's steering gear mechanism, and another is a Davis steering gear mechanism. So for your syllabus, only you need to study the Ackermann steering gear mechanism. Okay, so you can see what are the different attachments they have made here. So in the figure you can see the Ackermann steering gear mechanism is shown. This is the initial position having the points here PQ as the main axle here, and connected by the wheels C and D, because only we are just discussing about the front side, because rear side will not make any impact. So a common link is connected, a 4-bar link is connected here, that is A coming from P to A, then A to B, and then B to back to Q. So PA BQ makes a one link, that is 4-link mechanism. So PA BQ. Okay, so you can see this steering gear consists of 4 links here, PA BQ, and all having the turning pairs. Okay, so now when the vehicle takes a turn, what will happen? The second figure you can see. So QD initial position here, now D moves to D dash, so it is inclined here, and to take a common point here at the center here, so this C moves to C dash here, and you can see the change in the linkages here. So B moves to B dash, then A moves to A dash, and the angle which is initially the angle, if you take from P to A, this inclination, and from Q to B, this angle, they are taken as alpha. And now what will happen? The angle is here, the distance, the difference between the angle which is going extra here, that is phi minus alpha here. Okay, and this is extra, what was taken is said, let us take it as theta. So that is enlarged view can be seen in the below figure. So because this is we have to concentrate only on this part, I have zoomed this part and you can see this clearly. Okay, so let us consider this. I have just again zoomed it, so it is more clearly visible. So A moves to here A dash and B moves to B dash here. So in the figure you can see the two equal arms PA and QB are fixed to a stub axles, that is PC and QD. Okay, PC and QD, to form two similar bell crank levers, that is you can see CPA and DQB, that is pivoted at point P and Q respectively. So at point P you can see this here at point P. Okay, similarly here or at point Q respectively. Okay, a cross link, that is AB, is pin jointed at the ends to the two bell crank levers here, and during the straight motion of the vehicle, the gear is in the mid position with equal inclination of the arms, that is PA and QB with PQ. Okay, then the cross link AB is parallel to PQ in this position. So an Ackermann gear does not fulfill the fundamental equation for correct steering in all the position, but only in 3 position. Okay, and that is what is that we'll see now. So if the values of PA, PQ and the angle alpha are known, the mechanism can be drawn to a suitable scale in different positions. That is nothing but the angle phi can be noted for different values of theta, and this angle phi found by drawing the gear may be termed as nothing but phi A. Okay, so correct or theoretical values of phi corresponding to different values of theta for the given values of that is W and L can be calculated by the relation for the correct steering, what we see in the last derivation now, that is cot phi minus cot theta equal to W by L. The same thing here in this is in form of W and L instead of A by W what was there. So same thing is given by W by L, that is nothing but width by length, total length. Okay, so the angle so obtained by may be termed as phi L, that is the theoretical part. So comparing the phi A and phi L, so following observation can be made, that is for small values of theta, phi A is marginally higher than phi L. Okay. Similarly, for larger values of theta, phi A is lower than the phi L, and the difference is substantial. So thus, for larger values of theta, or when the vehicle is taking a sharp turn, okay, completely a sharp turn, the wear of the tires can be more due to slipping. Okay. However, to take sharp turns, the vehicle has to be slowed down, which reduces the wear of the tires. Okay. So this is just for taking the care of your tires. Okay. Thus, the larger difference, that is between phi A and phi L, does not affect much on the life of tires. But what happens in the Ackermann mechanism here? The instantaneous center I does not lie on the rear axis, but on a line parallel to the rear axis at an approximate distance of 0.3 L above it. Exactly, it will not match with the exact straight line. As you have seen in the condition for correct steering, it should match with the exact axis, point G, which was located there. Now it is not possible here, because it will be little bit distance of 0.3 L above it, not be exact, or the rear side axis will not meet at that points. Okay. So the three position of the correct steering are when the vehicle moves straight line, that is when the vehicle moves exit straight, that time the correct steering will be observed, the three positions. And when second position is nothing but when the vehicle moves at a correct angle to the right, or third case when the vehicle moves at the correct angle to the left. So these are the three positions for the correct steering. So in all other positions, pure rolling is not possible due to the slipping of the wheel. Okay. So graphically, the two positions of the correct gearing are found by finding cot phi minus cot theta at different positions, and the values that give the correct values of W by L, that is nothing but equal to 0.45, corresponding to the correct steering, correct gearing. Okay. So this is the basic description about the Ackermann mechanism. You don't have to study the exact derivation about this thing about Ackermann mechanism. Only you have to study how the linkages are connected. Okay. So this is regarding the Ackermann mechanism. So for assignment, you can just go through about the Davis steering gear mechanism also, which are not included in the syllabus, but you can just study for your information. That is there are two steering gear mechanisms which are there. Okay. So this ends all the types of mechanism which was there in this topic. So these are the references which we have taken all these things. These are all the books. Okay. So let us